Galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere south of Cleveland, Ohio. My name is Brian Engelman, and I am broadcasting to you on the New American Media. That's this right here. That is the flagship station where we also have Strictly Browns, which is powered by The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. And we're broadcasting The Unhappy Hour Sports Show because that's part of what I do. I cover all sorts of things, sports, politics, etc. If you're only usually tuning in to see our current events and political takes, you can excuse yourself right now. I understand this is perhaps a bit esoteric. Maybe this isn't your cup of tea per se. It does appear as though I am broadcasting in the Unhappy Hour. So leave your comments, please, on Facebook so that I can incorporate them into the program. Hoping I'm also broadcasting on Strictly Browns. Yes, it does appear as though I am broadcasting on Strictly Browns. So leave your comments. I might be able to see them and I might be able to incorporate them into today's show. So the Cleveland Browns had just a gut punch yesterday, losing away to the Pittsburgh Steelers 22-26. So many points to take away. Oh, Lord Almighty, so many points. The Nick Chubb injury is sickening, painful, just brutal. Almost as brutal as the 16.5 QBR from Deshaun Watson. His rating of 70.3. That's not 22 of 40. 235 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. That is not what you paid, what you mortgaged. You sold the farm. You know, this is the ungrateful relatives who took over Grandpa's farm. And you just sell it to some greedy developer. You know, Andrew Berry is on the clock. The moves that he has made are starting to seem pretty baffling, giving up 3 first-round picks. God, I don't even know how many in total, 6 or 7 for this guy. 22 of 40, 235 yards, 5.9 average, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And how many fumbles? You could maybe take that interception away. I would put that definitely more in the hands or lack thereof of Harrison Bryant. But Deshaun Watson had 2 fumbles, and those were 2 fumbles lost. I mean, for the love of God, that's the difference in this 4-point game here. Additionally, we had our kicker miss a kick. That would have taken us to 25-26. That's a 2-point conversion away from just being, you know, that's so many takeaways. Our special teams looked bad. Yeah, I think he nailed a 55-yarder, which was okay. You know, that's good. Not okay, that's good. Yeah, he had a 55-yarder. He was 2 of 3, but he missed one that he needs to make. He's got to make. There's really no room for error in the kicking game. There's just not. And he's 2 of 3. That's 67%. That's not great. The Nick Chubb injury was a gut punch. I'm calling on the NFL to immediately, indefinitely suspend Minkah Fitzpatrick in the first case of its kind for unsportsmanlike conduct detrimental to the league, targeting the knees to blow out the knee of an MVP candidate. The NFL has got to protect their players better than this. Don't tell me you were coached to dive at knees. That's always been a chicken shit play. Ever since I played, nothing would enrage me more when one of these 300-pound linemen would dive at my knees. I would literally attack them. Throat, stomach, elbows, anything I could do to scream at the person and warn them that they are never going to do it again. They are aiming at my knees to take me out for my career, to ruin my entire senior year, everything I'd worked so damn hard for. Little punks diving at knees. Either the NFL and Roger Goodell are going to protect people like Nick Chubb, one of the best people in the NFL, one of the nicest, humblest, hardest working players who recovered from another gruesome knee injury in college. Some people thought he would never even play. This has got to stop. and I'm calling on Roger Goodell immediately to indefinitely suspend Minkah Fitzpatrick until Nick Chubb returns to the field. If Nick Chubb never plays another down in the NFL, neither should Minkah Fitzpatrick. That is bullshit. That is chicken. It is bush league. I could go on a rant here. I'm gonna just contain it. You get the point. I'm saying I'm gonna move off it because there's a lot to discuss during the game. I'm not letting up on this. I'm not okay with this. The Steelers have been consistently one of the dirtiest damn teams in the NFL. I don't know what kind of dirt they have on the referees. I don't know what kind of partnership they have with the NFL where they just get away with so much of this crap. It's got to stop. For Nick Chubb. I'm going to say a word for Nick Chubb here. Lord Almighty, creator of the universe, however you're defined by all the humans who live here down on planet Earth, I call upon you to bless the doctors with the skill, the talent, the know-how, and the steady hands to repair the damage caused to Nick Chubb by that dirty Steeler play. And I encourage you to be with Nick Chubb in spirit as he is going to be on a long road to recovery from this second knee injury. He just seems to be one of the nicest guys, one of the best players that the Browns have ever had. Quiet, humble, and we appreciate him so much, and we definitely appreciate if you could guide him to a quick and speedy recovery, not just physically, but in spirit. Finally, he wasn't going to be splitting touches with Kareem Hunt, and he was going to be the man to get a bunch of action. Hated seeing him go down. So please be with him and his family in this difficult time and help the Browns rally and get past this and regroup and try to salvage the rest of the season. In your name we pray, amen. So mote it be. So that's what I have to say about Nick Chubb. Jerome Ford filled in fairly well. 6.6 average, right? He headed off to the right, found a stone wall, and he cut it back with a 69-yard run. Really, I thought it was a touchdown, but he got clipped right at his toes, and he stumbled, rumbling, stumbling. I thought he made it into the end zone, but he got down at like the 1 millimeter line. So he was robbed of the touchdown there, but that was a nice effort. And then we did get to see Pierre Strong Jr. That's who we traded Wheatley, the offensive lineman, to the Patriots to get Pierre Strong Jr. Look, that's the second running back now behind Jerome Ford. We got to regroup. Ford did okay. Take away that 69-yard run, you're talking about 15 carries for 30 yards. That's a 2-yard average. That's not great. But, I mean, Najee Harris had 10 carries for 43 yards. Not entirely great with a long of 21. Take that away, that's a 2-yard average as well. So, I mean, these were two talented defenses squaring up against each other. But, I was very critical of Kevin Stefanski when you could tell it was a bad relationship between him and Baker Mayfield. That was obvious. But that final game, I believe it was the last game when the Browns were officially eliminated from the playoffs. It sure seemed like Kevin Stefanski was trying to get Baker Mayfield injured out there, and I found it to be abhorrent, really gross. I love sports and I love football, but man, the injuries are the worst part of football. And it really just gave me the vibe that Stefanski was like, all right, I'll show him. And he left a rookie left tackle on J.J. Watt, who just creamed Baker that whole game. I didn't see much of a difference this game. Everything the Steelers were doing, it just kind of compounded. It was like the boiling frog, frog's in a big pot, and it's got some water, and it's just cruising around. Click it up a little bit. Click it up. It's a little warm. Click it up. Oh, it's a little toasty. Hey, it's kind of like a sauna. I like it in here. Click it up, click it up, click it up. Boom. Smells delicious. What do you call frog's legs? What is the name for that? I'm thinking escargot. That's obviously snail. What are frog's legs called? Just frog legs? By the way, try to type your comments. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see them, but I would love to incorporate your comments. If you're watching, if you're also watching, please click the heart button. Let me see some activity there to know that you're watching. The algorithm appreciates it, I believe. But the Steelers were applying pressure and they just kept applying pressure. It was the boiling frog analogy. It just kind of got more intense, more intense, more intense. And then we lose Nick Chubb, and obviously they're kind of teeing off even more. They're like, well, they're not going to hand it to the other guy. I'm begging to understand. Look, I've never been very impressed with Kevin Stefanski. I've never been impressed with his hiring. I'm really not impressed with the results that we've seen. I don't see the adjustments. I don't see the in-game strategy. I don't see a chess game. I see something scripted that just it reminds me of the you can't call them the mainstream media because there's nothing mainstream about deep state propaganda, but it reminds me of the lying legacy media. They will stick to a script and really much more so the Democrat Party than the Republican Party. The Republican Party is similar to the Libertarian Party. They tear each other apart. I mean, they should be backing President Trump instead of running people in a primary to come in a distant second place. I mean, Trump's up 40, 50 points. Like, they should unite the party and have one voice. That's the thing the Democrats do. You can dislike the Democrats, as I do, but they speak with one voice. They get their marching orders and they stay with it. The lying legacy media, they are the deep state Democrat media. They stick to their script and they'll repeat their lie over and over and they just keep repeating the lie. And it's just like Stefanski reminds me of that because it's just he repeats the same tendencies. He doesn't really adapt and change in game. He doesn't alter his perspective. He doesn't change his strategy based on new information. I would love to see someone that does that because as the Steelers increasingly dialed up the pressure on the Browns, you know, in my high school where I played, we were undefeated for 2 years in a row, and I'm seeing that we're losing every single game. I'm this close to applying to become the next football coach there. And I've never coached football in my life, but I think I could. I'm pretty sure I could. And the things I was taught, you go as deep as the deepest back. So that means if there's a running back, a wide receiver, a quarterback, you don't over pursue a play out of the play. You don't run yourself out of the play. When the Steelers were pinning their ears back and just attacking and blitzing, really putting a lot of pressure on, that's the time you play with an inside guard, you fan them out, and you let them over pursue. You do not give up your inside shoulder. You force them to the outside. How about a draw play? Stand back there, take the snap, 1,000, 1,000. They pursue, they're ready to get you. Boom, hand it to the running back right up the middle. How about a reverse? The reverse was the play that would always catch you if you were over pursuing. And that's what I saw the Steelers doing all game. Over pursuing because they were getting away with it. Nobody was keeping them honest. That nobody is Kevin Stefanski. Yeah, and I am kind of calling him a nobody. I'm very down on Stefanski. If Stefanski were a stock, I would be selling. Dabo Sweeney, maybe bring him back because he was able to get the most out of Deshaun Watson. Bring in somebody that knows how to use him. Maybe keep Jim Schwartz as head coach and defensive coordinator. I don't know. But you run a reverse. If they're over pursuing, they over pursue when you hand the ball off and it swings right. Well, guess what? They're so dialed in. They're frothing at the mouth. They're just charging full stream ahead. Get a reverse going. Then everyone's over pursued to one side and it's wide open on the other side. You let the rushers come in. Oh my gosh, it's over. You dump it sideways on a swing pass. on a screenplay to one of your running backs, to Elijah Moore, to somebody? Where were the slants, the quick hit slants? And good Lord, Deshaun Watson, can somebody tell me the stats? How many throws went downfield out of bounds, at least 2 yards out of bounds, into the sidelines? Some of them were 20 yards off of the sideline marker. That final play of the game. Oh, that was holding. That you see the picture and it's like this. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You know why? Because your golden child quarterback, who got the most guaranteed money in NFL history, who had a rap sheet of accusations. Now, accusations don't mean guilt, and there's a legal process. I understand that. But we all know what we're talking about here. In the grand scheme of things, would you rather have somebody get his massage and leave another 100 on the table just to kind of, release a little bit of the tension? Or do you want someone running around catching diseases, catching cases, getting in fights, baby mama drama? You're knocking people up all across the country. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I think the problem was that he was signing up willing participants, but he did actually mix in a couple of actual massage therapists, not just Instagram models who were massage therapists, if you know what I mean. And they were willingly signing up for what they were signing up for. But all that being said, it just kind of seemed like we could have got Deshaun Watson without having to sell the farm, without having to mortgage everything and go all in. Because that really is what Andrew Berry has done. 3 first-round picks for this guy, 6 or 7 picks in total. The salary cap hell we're about to get in because he keeps kicking the can down the road. Hey, the Browns have the most salary cap room in the NFL. Yeah, you're doing a Bernie Madoff. You're doing some sort of Ponzi scheme. I know oh, what a genius. He's so good. Is he that good? Or is he going to leave Uncle Jimmy and our franchise in a world of hurt for a full decade while we climb out of it and deal with the carnage of these short-sighted decisions? Now, are they short-sighted, or is this the Browns Super Bowl window? I kept saying we have Nick Chubb, Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward in their prime. This is the time to go. Like all in. We are a Super Bowl contending team because we have to be, because the window is now. You can cross Nick Chubb out. He's gone. God, if he even comes back, I shudder to think. But the play calling is baffling, and Deshaun Watson, when he throws these passes so far out of bounds, for the first, for his games last season and in the first week of the year against the Bengals, he was doing that thing where he was short arming it, and it was duffing at the feet, at the shins of the players. He was underthrowing it, and now he's sailing these things completely uncatchable. If you just leave that ball in play so that your receiver has a damn chance at it, of course they have to call that as a pass interference. Now, I would have liked to see them still throw the flag because it was clear holding. But then again, I'm calling on a RICO investigation as to why the Pittsburgh Steelers always seem to get away with huge penalties. There have got to be gambling implications here. There just has to be. Gambling has become one of the big, and it always has been. Is it half the reason or 90% of the reason why we love sports? I don't know. It's not zero. I've always been careful to get too involved in the world of gambling. It's the house always wins. But man, it starts to seem pretty weird. But speaking of weird, Deshaun Watson, have you ever seen? So 2 points. The Steelers grabbed his face mask and spun it around 90 degrees. Not completely back. That would have broke his neck, but 90 degrees. No penalty called. But then Deshaun Watson goes out on 2 runs, grabbing onto the face mask and throwing players down. Where was this taught? To grab a player by the face mask and throw them down? I don't recall this move. I don't recall a coach ever saying this is a smart way to play the game of football. He did it twice. These are big drive-killing penalties. These are stupid plays. Speaking of drive-killing stupidity, how many times did Watson he He's never struck me as a particularly bright player. Maybe that's just the Browns system. I didn't study him when he played in college. I didn't study him in Houston. I watched highlights like a lot of people. But he just doesn't seem to know where the plays are. He doesn't quite understand first read, second read, third read, fourth read. It's kind of like first read, run. That's like rookie quarterback shit. That's not three-time Pro Bowler, mortgage the farm, trade all of our assets for a guy under a massive raining cloud of suspicion and accusations. Andrew Berry said this is better than keeping the quarterback that took us into Pittsburgh and beat them in the playoffs, 2019. Took us into Kansas City, beat Kansas City. If they would have called the touchdown pass to Hollywood Higgins instead of a helmet-to-helmet collision that went through the end zone as a touchback, that's a difference in the game. Let me look that up. Let me make sure I have the score right. Browns, Chiefs, playoff score. Yeah, targeting came up. Yeah. That was a 6-point game, 17-22. You had that 7 points. The Browns win 24-22. And if that happens, if we win that game, what is it? We play the Bills in the next round? We could have kept our 3 draft picks and let Baker heal from his injury and bolstered that offensive line, because that's another point I want to make. This offensive line, the one that's been touted as the best in the NFL, one of the best offensive lines around, I don't think that they are. And I don't think that they have been for several years. And Jedrick Wills, what are we even doing? Why aren't we trying to upgrade the left tackle? It is a glaring trouble spot. We got problems. We've got problems. The Browns defense did pretty well. If you take away these turnovers, I mean, it was a 4-point game. This was a game we could have, would have, should have won. TJ Watt recovers a fumble, takes it to the house for his first NFL touchdown. Isn't that super? Grant Delpit was all over the place. I liked seeing that. Man, that long touchdown pass, that was so unnecessary. It was such a glitch. But that really is the margin of error in the NFL. It's quick. It's brutal. One play. So that would be my question of the day. What one play cost us this game? Let's take away the Nick Chubb injury for a minute, because I mean that could cost us the season. That could cost Nick Chubb. It will cost him his season. It might cost him his career. I'm so angry at Minkah Fitzpatrick. And I once again call on the NFL to suspend him indefinitely until Nick Chubb can return. You're a brotherhood. You are all in the same fraternity. Some people dislike LeBron James for, 1,000 reasons. I can't stand his politics and his bloviating and all that racial division stuff he learned from Barack Obama. Can't stand any of that. But he does also take criticism for kind of like being chummy with the other teams and kind of like being friends and with other players. And he works in projects and puts them into movies and TV shows and branding deals and merchandising. And he's a entertainment mogul. He's not just a basketball player. But what was a better sport? What was better for the fraternity? Was it better to have that plumber, Bill Laimbeer, out there just clotheslining people and elbowing, breaking orbital eye sockets? And that's not basketball. That's kind of trash. Play the game. And if you foul them, call the foul, put them at the free throw line. And if you're a dirty player, you should get kicked out of the game. If you're a dirty player too much, you get kicked out of the league. Because intentionally trying to hurt people without provocation is just, because if there's provocation and you're defending yourself, I grant a little bit of leeway there. Like I said, when players came after me with my knee. Oh, that was oh, I remember going skiing before my senior year, and I was praying, please, I was so worried I was gonna because I'm not good at ski. I was good at going straight down, but I didn't learn the side to side. I would just go straight, and I would stay up on my feet, and I would go to the bottom, and I didn't know how to stop, and I'd have to duck and roll and just tumble. Like I really needed a lesson, but I was so concerned about getting through healthy. The injuries really are the worst part. Anyway, it just what the hell point was I making there? They need to protect the fraternity. I don't think LeBron's criticism there is necessarily. I don't think that's a great point. I don't really buy that per se. I love competition. I like aggressive competition as much as the next person, but I think LeBron gets a little too much grief on that particular point. You could bash him for 100 other legitimate reasons. That one's just always kind of like, I don't know. So what? He vacations with Chris Paul. He's not going to want to elbow him in the face. Yeah, well, Kobe. Remember that time that Kobe was in the Olympics and he blasted Pau Gasol and knocked him down? I mean, okay, I get that to a certain degree, but the NFL really needs to protect its players. Back on point, the NFL needs to protect their players. Diving at somebody's knee to explode it into 1,000 pieces with a helmet. That's not football. That guy needs an indefinite suspension. So, moving aside from that, I could repeat that 100 times. It's not going to change my perspective on it. And you need to get some more takes here, some more stuff to consider. Leave your comments if you're watching live. Hit the heart if you're watching live on Facebook, and show that there's some engagement. Leave some comments and questions. But what do the Browns do at running back? Is Jerome Ford? Because remember, we drafted him fairly high out of Cincinnati, hoping that he would become a good player, and he looks talented. 16 carries, 106 yards, 6.6 average. He was taken in the 5th round in 2022 last year out of Cincinnati. 5'10, 210 pounds. Well, it's time we get to know this guy because he might be getting a few more carries. Unless, yeah, and I titled this Never Go Full Browns. It's just everything that could have went wrong. It was Murphy's Law. Everything that could have went wrong. And that injury was just, it took my breath away. I just got so sick. I know you all felt the same. It's just, this was a game we snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. The competent quarterback play would have got us this. Competent tight end play. And Joku lost one. Where are the turnovers? And Joku lost one. Delpit lost one. Watson lost two. I mean, just decent play would have got us this win. Mari Cooper got too much attention. But if you take him, I mean, he had 7 receptions, targeted 10 times, 90 yards. Jerome Ford caught a touchdown pass. But here's the question at running back. Are we okay with Jerome Ford and Pierre Strong? Or do we need to do something about it? Do we need to go out and get, I mean, who's out there? Obviously, Kareem Hunt. He was on the team last year. I don't know why they've soured on him so much. Did he really, as Bill Belichick so famously said about Bernie Kosar, diminishing skills? Is that what this is about? Diminishing skills on Kareem Hunt, the former NFL rushing champion from not too many years ago. And he's been used so sparingly the past couple of years. It's like, doesn't he have energy in the tank? Doesn't he have gas in the tank? I thought he did. I thought he does. So we'll see what the Browns do with any corresponding roster moves now that Nick Chubb is going on the IR or the DL or whatever you're calling it these days. I swear, every time I tune into a sports commentary, they keep changing the words of the teams and the disabled list, the injured list. It's so absurd. Anyway, who's available out there? I mean, remember, Ezekiel Elliott was sitting on the sidelines up until right before the season started for the Patriots. Who else is there? I mean, there's one big name just sitting there. This is a young kid. And who knows the significance? Really, I hate to even mention it. but I've said it a few times already. I'm just going to mention it one more time. Who knows the exact significance of this Nick Chubb injury? Will he ever play again? Let's hope so. But my God, I'm concerned. So the question is, do you go out and try to get somebody like the Indianapolis Colts, Jonathan Taylor? Maybe. He's only 24 years old. Drafted in 2020. That was 3 years ago. He's trying to get a big contract now. Do we sign him for 1 year to get through this season and give him a chance to flex on a championship contending team? Now, not how that offense played yesterday. My God, if the hot seat is not piping hot for Kevin Stefanski, I don't know. I don't know what is. But uh, that just kind of depends. We have the most salary cap space in the league. Are we going to spend it? It's kind of like, well, why wouldn't we? The reason we have space is so that we can do this. Now, would you sign him to a long-term deal? I mean, that might not be exactly what Taylor's looking for. That might not be what the Browns are looking for. I mean, how you sign two running backs to long-term deals at the same time on the same team? You really want to piss the NFL off? Because trust me, they were pissed off that we gave Deshaun Watson 100% guaranteed contract money in order to lure him away from he was going to go to the Falcons or the Saints, allegedly. He wanted to stay in the South and stay in a dome. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe Watson only plays well in a dome. And again, in college, he didn't. So I already mentioned Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt could be an easy answer to bring him through. Would it make sense to bring in Jonathan Taylor to the Cleveland Browns? I don't know. I'm curious to get your thoughts in the comments, please. But he's just sitting there wasting his career away, doing nothing. Wants a fresh start. I mean, allegedly we have a good defensive line or offensive line. Like I said, I'm a little more suspect on that, but I mean, he could shine in Cleveland. We have a wide open opportunity here. Yeah. We Ever since the Browns drafted Nick Chubb in 2018, he's been one of the best backs in the league, rushing over 1,000 yards in 4 of his 5 seasons. And coming off a career year last year, 1,525 yards, 12 touchdowns. So here's another name, Cam Akers. So the Rams have put him up on the trading block. He's only 24 years old, listed as a healthy, inactive scratch against the Niners. Akers and Sean McVay have not got along. He's been benched a second time now. This former Florida State player, first coming just last season. Sean McVay decided to bench him, and he went to Twitter, X, Cam Akers did, frustrated. He says, I'm just as confused as everybody else. I'm blessed, though. Top comment is, you've worked your butt off to come back from the most difficult of injuries. You're one hell of an RB, Cam. Don't let this stop you. Yeah, Saquon Barkley had a really bad injury. J.K. Dobbins, really bad injury. Poor Dobbins, Ohio State product. David Montgomery injured. Austin Eckler injured. Aaron Jones injured. Yeah, this post, week 2 isn't even over. I can't remember it ever being this bad. So what do the Browns do? Let's put on the general manager hat. What do you do? I'm not entirely certain. What we should do. What's Leonard Fournette doing right now, by the way? Anyway. All right, I'm just scrolling to kind of see what the latest chatter is on that particular topic. But the Browns have got to regroup and got to regroup quick. This was a dreadful loss. The difference between being 2-0 and being 1-1 is vast. Hey, you know what? Did we even throw it to Cedric Tillman, our third round pick? Now I know Amari Cooper was battling an issue. He almost didn't play yesterday. God, imagine how lost this team would have been without him. But Cedric Tillman can't even see the field. I don't quite get it. And what was going on with the kick return teams, the punt returns? At least call a fair catch. This is, it was the defense and the special teams that were costing us games for the past 2 seasons, hands down. And also injuries with Baker and to the offensive line during the injured Baker season. But it kind of seemed like we had turned the corner on special teams. And then, I mean, how many times did we get pinned in the back of the end zone? Nothing is going to set you up for failure quicker than poor field position. You got to at least do a fair catch and keep momentum. You can't allow that extra chance to pin you right at the goal line. That severely limits the playbook. We got a lot to clean up. I was super excited after game 1. I'm super sad after game 2. So anyhow, I'm going to wrap it up for here. But yeah, our show is called The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Follow us on all of the platforms, please. And I'm going to try to get through this. I'm down. I'm down on Stefanski. I'm down on Watson. I'm down on Jedrick Wills. I'm down on Harrison Bryant. I'm down on our special teams. I'm down on Donovan Peoples-Jones not catching the damn punts. That was him, right? Whoever is not catching the punts. I'm down on Njoku fumbling. Ugh, I'm down on Watson fumbling. I'm down on Watson's interception. I'll blame that on Harrison Bryant. I'm gonna be fair. I am deflated over the Nick Chubb injury. Easily one of my favorite Cleveland Browns players of all time. Every chance he gets that ball, it could be a home run. I know I'm mixing metaphors, but he's one of those home run running backs. He gets through there and but this is sadly the nature of football. And that's why I'm once again calling on the NFL to protect the players. You've got to ban these. They did that to the quarterbacks, leading with your head, helmet to helmet, concussion. You can't even land on the quarterback now. You got to kind of try to land off on the side of them so you don't drive into them and break their ribs. Why aren't you protecting your running backs? And the players union has got to get behind something with the position of running back. You draft a guy, you run him into the ground for 2-3 years, you don't pay him and their career's over. It's like, that's not, there's got to be a better way there. But if you can't watch Minkah Fitzpatrick blasting Nick Chubb's knee and suspend the guy, I know indefinite is a pipe dream, but it should be. You've got to outlaw these types of dirty plays. The other thing as I wrap up here, the Steelers, I watched it play after play, replay after replay. They are so well coached to pop the football out. Got the football, you're going down. Just every time they're punching at the ball. It was like the Browns every time they didn't expect it. Oh, there goes a fumble. Oh, there goes a fumble. There's a fumble again. I don't know, Davey. You ever watch The Program? Wasn't the Steelers head coach, Omar Epps, in The Program? Wasn't he the running back? And he had a fumble problem, so he had to carry the ball in school. And he couldn't lose it, and people were trying to knock it out of his hand all day long. and it goes in the hallway and they're fighting for it. We need some ball security drills. There have been too many turnovers in the past 2 games. We still have a talented team. Injuries are going to happen throughout the NFL. We just have to adapt and move on. That doesn't mean we're moving on from our love of Nicholas Jamal Chubb. It just means we have to. We have to go next man up and get better. So we'll see what happens. I would not be surprised with all of our cap space to see Kareem Hunt come back on a league minimum deal or something small. I wouldn't be surprised if we got Cam Akers or Jonathan Taylor. But there's a lot of running back needy teams. Every one of those other injured running backs that I mentioned, they're all vying to try to give the Colts equal compensation. I think they were saying they wanted a first-round pick or the equivalent. Unfortunately, the Browns don't have that, do they? No, because you sold it all for Deshaun Watson, who looks like a rookie quarterback out there. He does. All you Watson bros, okay. You're going to blame it all on the offensive line or on the great Steeler defense. Okay. Why didn't he look good in Cincinnati? Oh, that was weather. Okay. Why didn't he look good last year? Oh, that was because he didn't play for a while. Okay, in the first game, that's the case. But why in the second game, third game? It's because he didn't play for a while. Because reasons. I'm tired of it. You people that did nothing but criticize Baker and do nothing but make excuses for Deshaun Watson, I'm done with you. You please have a little self-awareness. You were unfair to Baker, and you're giving this guy way too much credit. But I am seeing a lot of the fan base turning sour on Stefanski, on Watson, on Barry, because on paper, this is supposed to be better. We're supposed to be better than this. There's plenty of time to rebound the season. Look, we're 1-1. Next week, we have a chance to turn it around. That's the beauty. It's going to be a short week. That's what happens when you play on Monday night. Next game up. Why am I looking at the schedule? Where? Monday, September 18. Where's the Browns schedule? Who do we even play next week? Okay, there we go. Titans. At home, that'll be good. Coming home might be good after this. Play the Titans at 1:00. That's a winnable game. What about Derrick Henry? If the Titans are going nowhere fast, would they trade him at the peak? I mean, he's an older running back now. If they're going to reload, would they like some picks for him? I don't know. Are they going to tank the season? Maybe. I mean, they're 1-1. Tennessee's pretty well coached. Is Ryan Tannehill the answer? Yeah, Derrick Henry's 40 carries, 143 yards on the season. I don't know. That's an interesting choice. But if anything else, if nothing else, the Browns are active in the free agent market or in the front office. So I don't think we're going to sit idly by. I think we will bolster the running back room somehow. Interesting that we traded for a running back, Pierre Strong, and he's getting touches yesterday. Not particularly effective, but we'll see how it plays out. So anyhow, that's all I got. I'm trying to keep a happy face on this. Not much to be happy about, but that is football. If you're a Browns fan, you're a Browns fan for life. You can't accuse me of not being a fan. You can accuse me of all sorts of things, but ride or die with this team. I'd prefer to ride. I prefer to get this championship already. It's so hard to do, but I've seen teams overcome adversity before. My God, we got a lot to work on. But just the dichotomy of, oh my gosh, we could go undefeated and win a Super Bowl after watching us just wallop the Bengals and then watching this debacle. Once again, it was a 1-score game. We could have easily won it by 3 points. Could have easily won the game if we made our 2 kicks and we win the game, right? I mean, we had the ball right at the end there. Yeah, if we got that field goal that Dustin Hopkins missed, that's a 1-point game. Say we get a decent drive on that last drive instead of stalling out. 2 field goals, we win this game. It's not like we got the brakes blown off of us. Fitzpatrick injured the brakes off of us. So I wonder if he faked that injury to get out of there so he didn't face retribution. And that was okay. Another point, and this is it. I wanted to see the Browns dial up some aggression. I'm not particularly saying I wanted to see like Bounty Gate, like the Greg Williams down in the New Orleans Saints thing, an eye for an eye. Oh, you did this to us, we're taking you out. Like, I'm not exactly saying that, but where was the anger and rage over that? I wanted to see our players blocking an extra half second on every play, fighting forward and swarming the ball an extra half second. What was that Al Pacino? What movie was that? The Longest Yard, maybe? I don't know. I might be mixing up my football movies, but it was just like, this game is a game of inches, men. The game of inches. Inches equal yards. Hoo-ah! I don't know. I gotta work on my Pacino. But yeah, it's like I wanted to see us dial up the intensity, and I consistently the rest of the game. I didn't see it. I don't see any emotion out of Stefanski. For the love of God, they just took your best player out. How could we not dial that up and increase the energy, the emotion, the tenacity? Epic fail. There is no motivation from this coaching staff. And I know Schwartz, like, yeah, everybody needs to celebrate. If you're not, you're loafing. Okay, some of that's manufactured, but yeah, you're trying to manufacture a culture. I get it. Like, I get it. But man, I just wanted to see us get more intense, and we didn't. So these are all things I'm gonna be looking forward to for the rest of the season to keep an eye on. But tough game, tough injury, tough loss. Luckily we have 15 more games to kind of work on some of these things. And hopefully we can improve. Hopefully we can get to the playoffs and make a run. Hopefully we can find a way to. You're not going to replace Nick Chubb, but that's what people said about Drew Bledsoe. I mean, he's a great player. He's airing it up. He's a really good quarterback. Good young quarterback. Scoring a lot of points, a lot of touchdowns, moving the ball downfield. You're not going to replace. There's no replacing Drew Bledsoe when he got hurt. Or is there? The margin of error, like I said, which was the play of the game? That is my question of the day. What play of the game was it? What was the play that changed the game? Any one of these. We lost by under 7 points. So any one of these major plays could have been the play. So which one was it for you? Take away the injury. Which one was it? Was it one of the fumbles? Was it one of the interceptions? Was it, that first play of the game? I mean, we started off completely behind the 8 ball. Is that what did it? I don't know. But that is the question. What was the play? Was it the long Pickens touchdown? I don't know. I don't know exactly what it was, but in the NFL, it's a game of inches, man. It's a game of inches. Inches equal yards. They say in the military, ounces equal pounds. So every ounce of thing in your backpack, it's just this. It's just one of these. It's just a couple of those. Okay. Do 10 of those. Do 20 of those. Do 30 of those. Ounces equal pounds. Inches equal yards. In the NFL, I mean, the best teams and the worst teams are separated by a play or two a game. A bounce of a ball went this way instead of that way. They're separated by one play call, one extra effort play. So what was it for you? What was the biggest moment of the game? So many to choose from. All right, it's a short week. Got the Titans on Sunday. Go Browns. Oh, before I go, I want to show you this. If you're interested, I have these. These are the Unhappy Hour Sports Show pins. Only 100 of these will ever be made. If you want one, send me a message. They are for sale. Additionally, I have coasters. These are sets of 4. The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Thick wooden coasters. These are set of 4. Look at that. Shaped like the state of Ohio, the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Pretty neat. Leave me a message if you want some. Selling merch to help fund our enterprise. All right. Signing out for now. I appreciate you. I love you. Later on today, we're going to do an episode, I believe, with Blake Wally on the New American Media, the Agree to Disagree show. And we're going to unpack the top 5, 6, 7, or 8 stories that have happened over the past few days, including a missing F-35. How do you lose a jet? As if the news couldn't get any weirder. But yeah, we intend to go live at 3 p.m. Eastern. So I'll be signing out for now. I appreciate you. I love you. Go Browns. Prayers to Nick Chubb. And I'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Peace.